the beautiful 20-year-old Sizzles, and we are now going to start working on the front body of Sizzles. Excuse me. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm just trying to move it so that you guys can see what I'm working with as well. There is a shadow here that you guys see, but I don't see when I'm setting this up. So it's a little frustrating. You guys aren't seeing it as lightly as I'd like. Okay, so we had started to come down here with a bit of brown ochre, I believe it was, and a cooler gray. What we're going to do is continue with the gray, the cool gray, and we're going to bring it into where the black is going to go over top. But before we bring in the black over top, we're going to take our indenting tool and make some marks where that gray is, where we'd like that gray to show through. We don't want them as smaller bits of gray like we have in Sizzle's ear. We want them more purposeful. So I'm going to start with the cold gray 2 just to see how I like it, because they are pretty bright grays. So it may not look like much at first. You do want to watch where you're going in terms of the direction of the fur again. It is about 2:30 in the morning, and my cat has decided to wake me up to be fed, and now he wants to cuddle. So he's eyeing me up from the floor. Are you coming up? So you might see cat paws in the video here, because he likes to lay his upper half on the desk. Oh, no. He's decided he wants to hug it out. He's a hugger and likes to lay on my shoulders sometimes. The only problem is he's very big. He's a tuxedo, but about the size of a Maine Coon, and he likes to sit on my shoulders, but he falls off because he's not small enough to fit up there. Okay. So I'm just going to zoom in. Wonder if I can. I'm just opening up on an art program, or Sizzles up on an art program, and I'm just going to check to see. Cat bopping me. If I can zoom into his picture. Make this a little bit bigger. And then we're gonna zoom in. Need to see the fur direction, because Sizzle's hair does go like fans into the black in this direction, but then it does come back and go downwards. And I just want to make sure that I'm capturing it in the right direction with the gray. Now, we're not going to notice it as much because it's mostly all black, but when the gray comes through, you are going to notice that. So That's why I want to make sure I capture it. Now, we want the right fur direction, but it doesn't have to be super dark or super filled in. We're just lightly sweeping over with small pencil strokes in the direction of the fur. And then we'll do the indenting next once we get this the way we want it. And we're going to use the wooden indenting tool to make it more softer lines and more bigger lines than the metal one that we've used in previous tutorials, because it doesn't show the same. Okay. It just creates more thinner lines, so it's better. The other one's better for, my opinion, I like it better for whiskers, things like that, but this is better for real, actual fur areas. I also noticed watching the replays of the last two, which I did not notice in my other videos, when I don't talk, there is a slight buzzing sound, which is kind of strange because I do have a headset in where I'm listening to something while I'm doing these tutorials with you guys, but you don't hear it, so I'm not sure what it is that's creating the buzzing. There's no fan, nothing running like that would create that sound. Okay. So we're going to take our wooden indenting tool, which you can find for less than 10 bucks on Amazon. And I'm going to see the fur all goes in different directions, depending. So where the gray pops through. So we're going to start right along here where the yellow ochre was. Actually, I might even look for a thicker one. It'd be nice if my cat got off my shoulders. I just want to see if there's one I like better in terms of thickness and this one might work good. You just want to look for one that's a little bit thicker because we're, like I said, we're not doing whisker size. You don't have to press super hard. You do want to put some pressure in. Okay. And then it comes down. Watch the direction in which it's wisping. And then we're going to just go down here into the black. Because we're going to have some browns going in to where the black is. And we don't want the black to cover that up. We want to still be able to show those blonde wispy hairs coming in. Okay. And then again, this is where it starts to go down. So we're just patching in with the indenting tool the little gray areas. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you would like for it to go in the direction of the fur. I just keep looking at the reference photo and deciding which direction and the little shape of the bulk of the fur is. So Sizzles has a little bit more gray along the bottom here popping through. So we're just going to capture that as well. And then some light gray speckles along the bottom side here. And right here. Side, just making sure we get those, because there's going to be more of a blonder color here, and it is going to come in to this black area, so we definitely want to capture that. Okay. Kitten, I don't know where you think you're going, coming back this direction. So, all right, get down. You're a good boy. Go ahead, you can get down. He's like, I don't want to get down. Oh, pets are something else, I'll tell you. You coming back this way? Okay. Are we doing the... Are we gonna relax? No? All right. Well, I'm just trying to get my cat settled here so that he is workable, because sometimes he gets a little feisty and wants to try to steal my pencils, which is not something I want him doing in the middle of this. He is 13 and acts like he's a baby still in terms of kittenish behavior. So we're going to come in along the bottom here where the guideline is and start bringing the fur in the direction that it shows on the picture, which is going a little bit in for just the beginning. And I'm continuously watching the reference because the fur does change quite readily. The cat is attached in my headset. There we go. Okay. So we're just going in lightly at first. We're not putting a lot of pressure. You can start seeing those lines we made with the indenting tool. Here. Yes, I see you. You're sassy. Well behaved, are you? No. That's what it is, right? Okay, and then up here, we're coming off of Sizzles' upper neck area. I just want to make sure. Yeah, okay. The hair kind of comes down, or the fur, I guess I should say, comes down here. And then eventually this fur turns completely straight almost. Almost. But the white or gray furs that pop through are definitely not completely straight, so it may feel like you're going in the opposite direction, but you're not. Okay. Oh, I know. He's laying his little head on my arm to go to sleep. Almost hard, don't you? Just using the black here, moving our way along with the fur direction. My arm back there, kitty, for a sec. There you go. Now it's still really light, and we will darken it up as we go, but for now we're just bringing in that color So we have the fur direction, and you don't want to totally rely on this either, but it does help know where your fur is going to go if you have a layer sort of already down. Now I just want to check on this side. We have the sweater, the neck of the sweater, but it is going to come down. I'm just sort of looking here. I'm going to, sorry, Rory. I am going to see here. I'm still using the black. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that bottom part for now because it's a more blacker black with no indents or anything in it. So I'm going to finish doing the area of which is indented so that way we have a clear indication of the areas we're working on and not get too much started at once and then not know which area is which. So I'm just going back over with a light pressure with short pencil strokes on Sizzles side of the neck and or the front of the, I guess it'd be the side of the front of the chest. Just following the fur line. Really start seeing the indenting marks now. Just making our way through. We're going to deepen this up a lot, but we do want to create more, you know, we just have to be patient. Some areas are a lot of sort of, you know, just going over and over and over and creating layers, because if you go too fast or too much pressure on the paper, you're going to have such graininess that it just doesn't look right. So, again, just take your time. You're going to see it build up. You can work in one little area at a time like this, or do the whole piece like I have been, like the whole area, and then keep going up and down like I am. But you will see it eventually start popping through, so it's not anything to worry about. And watching your reference photo to make sure you're going in the direction of the fur. Just moving the pencil around like this to get the sharpest edge of the pencil. And doing a light to medium pressure as I start building up the color a little more. Take your time. Time. spots area. Slowly but surely it's coming in. He's moving through the fur in the direction that it is in the reference photo. Now we're going to bring the black in along here. So we have here, this is the sweater that Sizzles is wearing. So we're trying to obviously work with that. The black comes around here and comes very close here, but there is a bit of an area here of shadow with Sizzles' sweater in like this. There we go. And then it comes, there's some blonde hair. Almost. Sort of running my black lightly where I see where the blonde hair curves in the corner there, and I'm just sort of drawing in where it's roughly going to go. It doesn't have to be perfect, but then I have an idea of where to avoid. Move this up so I can see. Very small, and then here there's more indenting lines again. So what I'm going to do is bring some of that. It is Cold Gray 2. Bring in, where is it? Cold Gray 2. Right here where you see where the blonde is going to be in the center, we're going to wisp it out towards that sweater line. And again, it's okay if we end up covering some of it with the black, but we're going to do the indenting as well right along there. So I'm just going to erase my lines there. So the blonde is here. 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 worry. You're a sleepy kitty. He's trying to snuggle his head into my hand, and I keep moving it around. Or into my arm, I should say. So here, it's obviously going to be already mapped out, but at least that area is sort of done, so we know what we're looking at. And again, it's okay if you go a little too far out the gray, because it will be covered with the black anyways, so it's okay. We're just sort of getting an idea of where those indenting lines are. And then I'm going to bring it back up, because it goes pretty tightly to the edge. So we're going to grab this guy again, the indenting tool. And we're going in between the blonde and the left side of the sweater, or it's on the neck, but right before the neck of the sweater starts on the left side, in between the blonde and the black. And we're just lightly wisping in where that blonde will go. Right down here. Back up one more time. All right. And we're going to come in with this black along the bottom and move our way up. And this is pretty deep, so we don't have to worry about any indent lines here. It's pretty solid black. So we're just sort of avoiding areas that will bring the blonde of the fur down into. And then here is going to be sort of the rim of the neck of the sweater, because there is a little bit of blue that will come down into that area. So we want to avoid that as well. Again, if you start lightly like this and build it up, you'll have more control because you're paying more attention to where you're putting the black. But you are also making sure that you're not creating too much, like if you do mess up an area, let's move this down a bit. If you do mess up an area, then you can easily come back and erase it because it won't be too thick. Okay, so we're just watching this side there. Dents in. And we've got a little gap here where the sweater goes up along the side. Up. Holding up that black. I'd like to see where it comes up here. Okay, it does seem to peter off there, so I'm going to leave that there. And then it comes down here. Just continue to build that up. Making sure short pencil strokes in the direction that the fur goes in on the reference photo. Okay, so for now I'd like to leave that, and then I'd like to bring in, check for the center area here, because we've got under the neck, we've got quite a bit of dark in the center here, and then it sways out into that black and gets lighter as it goes out. I might start right on the bottom. And I do like the nougat. It would help if I had it upright. I do like the nougat for this area here, and some very, very pale, I think it'll be cool gray 1. Yeah, cool gray 1. And some nougat. Okay. Rory, you do not need to help me. I'm good, thank you. That's Bister. What did I do with the nougat? Is that it there? That's Van Dyke Brown. I'm just looking. Where is that nougat we were working with? It's a walnut brown. I need that as well. But I am looking. Good. Ivory in there as well. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna come in with the ivory first, and just, even though we won't really see it, we're just gonna lightly bring in the fur in the proper direction right here, because it's very light, and any color we bring in is going to be very, very slight and gentle. So it'd be nice to have a surface that will, one, soften the surface for moving the darker colors, and the ivory will help lighten it a bit too, the darker colors in this spot. And this is just going to go right up into there. I'm going to bring it right into up here on the sides as well, watching that fur direction, because it does get quite blonde still in this area. So we're just mopping it in there. And then it gets quite dark here, so we're going to leave that. Okay, so first we're going to come in with the nougat along the bottom. This nougat, this is what I did with it. And it's very slight. So I'm just doing light wispy motions with the nougat in the direction of the fur. It's a little bit darker. Just lightly filling it in, light feathery pencil strokes right here. And then there's a little line right here. And then one right here. right here. And then it comes off with the nougat off of here. We're going to leave that for now. And then we're going to bring in a darker gray, actually, than the one I have. I'm going to use... I would like to use a kohler gray. This is warm gray 5. And we're just going to wisp it in here. Along these lines here where we place the nougat as well, because there is quite a bit of gray into it. I'm just bringing some grays into here. So just look at the pattern on the reference photo and you can see where there's some grays that come in. Just lightly, and you can always build it up or take away. And then right over here with the nougat, the bottom, we're just going to lightly dust over the nougat with the gray. Again, we're using the warm gray 5, just very lightly. And then just darkening when we get into those areas where we shadow the fur in. And then again, it comes up right here. Down just a little bit, dragging it into the ivory. Okay, and then here, and then I'm going to bring it up just along this black line. Just bring it up like this, so it kind of blends into the black lines we have coming in. And we're going to take, what is this? The cold gray 1, and we're going to go over the rest of the area lightly, not heavily. Here in this light area. Make sure you're going in the direction of the fur. Move up. And we almost have like a ready color, which makes me want to bring in the Caput Mortem Violet again, almost. That might actually be perfect for this darker area in here. Just helps to have a little bit of space to work with. Okay. And I'm going to just move my X-Acto knife up there since I do have a kitty who's keeping a close eye on me. And we're going to move this guy out of the way too because we may not need it again. Just going to move these guys that we're working with right here so they're out of the way as well. Okay, so we're coming in with the Caput Mortem Violet into that center area of the chest, and it wisps out in both directions, so make sure you're paying attention to where that is. You're not going to get it 100% perfect, but we're going to start it lightly. And just coming in very gently here. very, very lightly, because we're not going to put the brown over top of it here. And then we're going to bring this down. Because we're going to put some lighter browns in between the Caput Mortem violet and the black there. So if it goes in there a little bit, it's okay. It'll help with the blending, but it will not be where the dark walnut brown is going. As a warning, it's only the center area. Okay. And we are just building up here with the Caput Mortem violet right up under the chin of dear Sizzle. And then we've got Sizzle's neck area, which we're just going to leave for, or chin area, I should say, that we're just going to leave for the moment. And we're just going to go another little layer lightly in the center of the Caput Mortem violet. And then we'll lay down the maple, or the maple, there we go, the walnut brown. Okay. So I think we're going to come in before we do that with another color. It might be a raw umber. The raw umber would be good. And then fade into the nougat again. So we need burnt sienna. I'm going to find the burnt sienna. You can help, Mama? Okay. We use burnt sienna. We're not going to go all the way to the edge yet, because we're going to also bring in the nougat to go the rest of the way. Because you'll notice it sort of fades from the dark walnut brown to the dark sepia to an even lighter color, which will make nougat. Oh, all right, kitty. All right, thank you. I've got my lap put back. So we are just going in the direction of the fur growth, coming right out of that Caput Mortem violet, which is fine, because we want it to blend with the walnut brown when it comes to that as well. Okay. And we're going to bring it out this way. Coming into this area we've done already with the burnt sienna, just lightly. We don't want it super, super dark. We can always build it up, like I said. And then we're going to bring this right to the edge of the neck. Make sure you're moving your body around a little bit, doing little stretches, because you will be sitting pretty uncomfortable, or, in one spot at least, even if it's comfortable for long periods of time, or with a pet sleeping on your lap, and you need to get up and move around so you don't hurt your back, because you will eventually hurt your back. One thing the body does not like is repetitive movements in the same area without stretching it out. Okay, and then we're going to grab the nougat, which apparently I want to throw. I believe this is the nougat here. Here we go. We're just going to come into, just coming off out of the burnt sienna and bringing it out this way. Trying not to go into the black too much because we don't want to give that hint of green. We want to keep it as a blonde color. And yes, the Caput Mortem violet does look very purpley red right now. And that's totally normal. We're going to cover that with the walnut brown in a second. Just, I figure we can get those lighter colors mapped in and then blend the darker color into the center and bring it out. Okay. Lightly. Just moving my legs a little bit. Just lightly with the nougat to blend it into the colors we'd done earlier, which I believe was the brown umber. Lightly blending them in and just lightly glazing near the black. Don't want to create a green color, but we don't want a big white gap either. So we're just going very, very, very gently with the nougat. And the nougat's a little bit of a cooler brown, so it's less likely to create an issue. It doesn't have a lot of yellow in it. I'm just focusing more between the black and the nougat just to make sure that it's in there. And of course, you're going to have your indent lines there as well, so you don't have to worry of getting it super dark or deep. You just want to make sure it's covered where it isn't indented. Make sure we've got it. Does stay pretty gray here at the bottom, so we're going to ignore that area. And then all together with the nougat. Then we're going to come in now with the walnut brown. Doing a light layer first over the Caput Mortem violet, and then with the walnut brown, which I call maple walnut for some reason. So if I accidentally say that, you'll know I mean the walnut brown. Just going in the direction of the fur, which is a little bit wispier, a little bit. And then we're just going in the direction of the fur here and building up the color over the layers. We're not pressing any harder. And twirl your pencil around to get the darkest or to get the sharpest end. It's a bit. We don't want this to come all the way out, obviously. We want to keep the colors we've been creating. So we're just going to wisp it out to the burnt sienna and nougat. So it also blends too. Slowly making our way around. And this does come up a bit, the brown, the walnut brown, up into the chin a little bit. Move up here for a second. That is more of a nougat color here. So we're going to bring the nougat in all the way across. And then we'll add some hints of brown, walnut, and some burnt sienna as well. But at first we're going to start with just the nougat and fill under the chin. Again, pay attention to that fur direction. I'm just going to bring it back down around the side of the muzzle where we had erased it earlier from working on the ear. So just a light layer of nougat there, and that's it. Back down the neck. And paying attention to that fur direction will help make the neck pop and look like it is coming right up out of the page. So we're going to bring in the details a little bit more with the burnt sienna and walnut brown, but we do want nougat's face to pop because underneath there are shadows. But first, we just got to capture the fur direction. And we're going to come in with the burnt sienna first. So I'm going to make sure. We're going to grab that burnt sienna, and we're just going to go lightly, very lightly, under the lips, like this. And then right under here, where the mouth is, we're going to bring in the definition right there of that line. And we're going to bring in the walnut brown. And then it comes along here. So we're using the walnut brown to kind of map in the shadows under Sizzles' chin. Still going in the direction of the fur. See how that starts to bring it to life when you start bringing in those values? Makes all the difference. And that's why you don't lay just strictly one color down. This is a perfect example of that right there. Okay, and we're going to bring in some more burnt sienna there. We're going to come up and under here again. Burnt sienna again into these lighter areas. Go back in with the brown walnut. That is the nougat, I believe. Yep, we don't need that. Okay, I'm just going back in and deepening those values again. And we're going to go back in with that burnt sienna and drag some of the darker color of the lips down. Okay. Just going to bring a little bit more of the burnt sienna coming out of the walnut brown. Just like this, just wisps lightly, not hard pressure, just bringing it out from the brown. Down. That gray again, which is the cold gray one. And we're going to go again, just down into these hairs here with a slight light to medium pressure. And we're just going right into that black. So there we have the chest of Sizzles. And I'm just going to back up a little bit. And then next we're going to come in and start with the front of the sweater, which is going to be grays and blues. And then we will work on Sizzle's cute little feet in the front. And then in the next video, we'll work our way towards, well, depending on how long it takes us, we'll move our way down the sweater towards Sizzle's back leg. Yeah, and that's the plans. So we'll be back. Take care, guys.